We are live.
Oh, we are dark. Oh, there we go.
Well,
Oh my gosh.
hi everybody.
Oh, I fixed myself.
Everybody like bend down and come back over this.
And
Here we are. Okay. We are live for the week 5, going over the Q&A. Kat and I are drinking some martinis, and sister is having some wine.
Cheers.
Sauvignon Blanc. Sauvignon Blanc.
And we are in my living room so that we all fit.
This is nice. What do you guys think
It
of this?
is. This is nice.
Yeah.
I feel like this is
we, have
much
lots,
better.
we have lots of room.
You guys don't. Why are you so
I do
far
like
away?
the delay. What?
Why are you so far away?
Because I have a big butt.
You and Mom
I'm
look
giving
smashed.
space for the butts.
Yeah.
She's got her arm behind me. That's why. Okay. As we adjust and get situated, because if you guys didn't know this, when you go live on YouTube, you have no time. Like you have no, hey, here's what you're gonna look like. No, nothing. It's just like you're live. That's it. No. Make sure lighting
Is
is
there
good.
anybody
anything
here, or
like
is that just us?
We have 2 people on.
Where?
Hey, I don't know where. Right there.
Right
It
here.
says 2.
Up there.
So
No.
back to like rookies.
Oh, she's.
I'm looking
Okay,
at
guys, so tonight we actually have, because we're in Kat's living room, we have the computer set up so that we can fit the 3 of us on a nice couch where we're not super squished together. And then we also have it projected onto the TV screen because it
So we
might
can-
be
so we can read
Yeah.
your comments, because from here to there, they're like,
we'll have to
What does
all
that
lean
say?
in. That's what it'll look like every time we want to read a comment.
so now we can read.
Hi,
I can say,
ladies.
hi, Liza. Hi, Jacqueline and Jenny.
I know. See, it's very hard. I'm like, I gotta scoot to the edge of the couch a little bit so I can see
Like, is
more.
it sinky sink?
No, because I need to read.
No, you're just talking. We're gonna read.
You
We'll
can't
take
read
care of
over
that.
there on the
That feels foreign to me. Okay.
Oh, well, that's why we did
Anyway.
this. That's why it's on the TV.
All right.
She's being
I'm not
disrespectful.
following directions already, like usual.
Listen, thank you for bearing with us tonight as we experiment with brand new space and technology.
It's kind of like
We're
Wayne's World,
experimenting.
you know?
We're
Remember that
experimenting.
show?
Yes.
Wayne's World, where they sit on the couch.
I don't remember that part of it.
Wayne's World, party time. No?
Was Keanu Reeves in that?
What?
I don't know. Okay, that's
Dana
not it.
Carvey and
Okay.
who's the other dude?
Did she just insult Kiana?
He was in a movie like that
Yeah, he was.
where there was
I
like a
can't remember
photo
his
booth or something. I don't know. Anyways, we're getting way off topic.
We're
you
getting
guys.
off topic.
So off topic. Also, for tonight's live, not meetup, we're gonna try to keep this at 30 minutes ish. It is the Libra full moon tonight, and I don't know about you, but we all have rituals and things that we want to do for the Libra new moon. Moonrise, where we're at right now, is at 8 p.m. So that would be right when the meeting's ending, and we kind of want to get going on our stuff to be ready for the moonrise. So we have the chat printed off. You guys won't believe it, but this is the chat from the last meetup.
Listen, I had
So
to
much.
reduce the spacing because it was 18 pages.
I'm
I was like,
shocked.
I'm not
Love
printing
it.
18 pages of chat.
That
I love it.
it's always been so hard having the meetups and not being able to read through the comments while we're doing the lessons.
Yeah.
So this is what we decided on doing, to go over stuff so we can read it, so you guys can hear about it if you ended up missing Mondays. Missing it. All right. It's gonna be Giggly Town tonight.
We're all in weird moods. So
Yeah, it's a Libra full moon. Anything goes, pretty
Yeah.
Don't
Why would you do that?
clear your throat at the same time as
Literally
me.
the same noise. Weird.
Okay. The pages are not numbered and they got mixed up, so we're just starting somewhere randomly within the video. And if you guys weren't there for Monday, the reason that last week and Monday's videos aren't live yet is because I left my computer in the Delta Sky Lounge and it had to get shipped to me. And I just got it last night, so I haven't had time to process the last 2 videos, but they will get up sometime soon. I don't want to make promises.
Soon.
Well, because Tony, my husband, just told me that he has the next 3 days off, which means I have to be front and center for the next 3 days off. So I'm also on
Full on wife beats.
vacation stuff.
Yeah.
So I will do what I can to get them up before Saturday. that would be really nice. Spend some time tomorrow doing them.
Well, lesson 5 emails going out tomorrow afternoon. So I did get caught up on all the emails.
So Kat's got you covered if you want to
And-
know what happened.
And you can also see the blog post from lesson 5 from week 5 on the New Witch Academy of Modern Magic website.
Our website.
Woo!
Okay, so we're gonna jump right in with a couple with things that were mentioned during the meetup that if you weren't there, you missed. That's the whole reason for these lives on Thursday. The first thing that comes up on the page is one of Jolene's favorite. It's probably good to say favorite. One of her favorite sites for looking up a divination tool, because Monday was divination. I don't think we mentioned that yet, but we went over divination tools, and other things about divination, but tarot specifically, one of Jolene's favorite sites to go to look up divination stuff is Biddy Tarot. Biddy, Biddy Tarot. Because this lady she does an extensive job of explaining the cards with lots of detail and lots of explanation and stories and background and everything. For me, it's a bit too much. I need something more cut and dry for my Virgo self, but for Jolene, it seems to really have an impact on how she understands, reads, and learns the cards. So that was one of the things. It's a reference for you guys to look up Biddy Tarot if you're wanting to get deeper into tarot. The next thing was we did talk about numerology. So numerology is a system of divination where you can find out things about yourself, your loved ones, watermelon.
Cantaloupe.
I'm
I
gonna
just
blow on you here in a
sneezed.
minute.
Don't. Okay, I said it to myself. And when we're doing numerology, one of the things that comes up is when you do your name in numerology, you have a karmic debt. You can find out what lessons you're here to learn. It's amazing. We all had a lot of coinciding numbers that were very similar in the talking after the meetup, but the question was, do you use your married name or maiden name? And with numerology, you can use both and see what lessons each gives you, because when I was Williams as my maiden name, I had certain lessons. And now that I have Welch as my married name, I have new lessons to learn with that, because that is part of my identity. So you can do it for both. But when you're doing your initial numerology chart, you would go with the name that you were born under if you know it. If you were adopted and it's the name that you were given that you've always lived by, you would just do it by that name. You go by the best guess that you can. I mean, this is all a guessing game. A lot of it is. It's like what fits for you, which we're going to get into that. So the other thing was a requested numerology lesson.
Yes.
Oh, I would love to do that. I would love to do so many numerology lessons, because that is, besides tarot, I went tarot numerology immediately when I started on my witchcraft journey back in 99. So for so many years, I have developed my numerology skills and my tarot skills, and that's been centered to my practice since I started, forever. I've always loved numbers. I was born on 2/22, so because of that, I always paid attention to numbers anyways. I was like, that's got to mean something. And I was born on George Washington's birthday. I mean, that's got to mean something. I'm an American. I was born on like our first president's birthday. I'm hot shit. I don't know. So
Here she
it's-
goes.
I had to adjust my crown during the last meeting. So it's just possibly something that you explore with your names and your numbers, and to see where it leads you. That's all. It's a journey that's supposed to lead you to different answers, and how you get there is going to be unique to everyone. Okay, but a numerology lesson, that would be a couple. That'd be like 3 weeks.
At least.
Yeah,
At
maybe
least,
even
at least.
four, maybe four.
I think
And it
could
would be an
more.
interactive class that we would
Yeah.
have to, it would be really hard to do like a live meetup and then post that onto YouTube. That would be pretty difficult. But it could be something that we do hands-on. It's just a group that's private. Okay. So the numerology thing, I love numerology so much. I could
Yeah.
talk about it forever.
The numbers, man. Always for us.
Always the numbers, always the symbolism. I
Mhm.
mean, you have things throughout your life that seem to repeat and draw your attention. So we talked about a good book if you want to just do signs from the universe. Laura Lynn Jackson has a great book called Signs, and she's a psychic medium who helps family members after loved ones have passed over to connect with them through signs. And it's just a great book of seeing how signs show up and how they're meaningful. During our meetup, we had somebody who had dimes show up as their signal from people passed over. I know the common ones are definitely like birds and butterflies and different flowers. It could be a car, a cologne, even cigars. After our dad first passed, when we would smell a certain cigar thing, it was like, there's our dad. So the symbols are unique to everybody as far as reading signs from the universe, and it's whatever your attention is drawn to. There's books about it. There's definitely lots of stuff on the internet. I think that's where we directed people, was like, find a website that you really like, that you connect with as you read the interpretations. Even for dreams, just find that stuff online. You don't have to buy a book, or check it. Go to a bookstore and look at the book before you buy it, because it's such a broad topic. It's really hard to get that into a single book, and you might be disappointed by what you get. It might not answer your questions. So the internet is a much better resource. People are writing free stuff all the time, showing you things. So when we talked about dreams, this kind of progressed into then dreams and things showing up in our dreams as symbols, because that's also a side of divination, is what happens in your dreams and what does it mean for your waking life. There's one website that I use a lot, which is, I think it's Dreams A to Z or something like that. But
Yeah.
it's extensive, and they've been building that website forever. Like, it's what? Tank is in the background.
He's back there eating the air.
I can't wait to watch this back.
You can only see that he's right there, guys.
Yeah, I can hear him. Cover him up with your
We-
shoulders.
We didn't put him in the bedroom.
No.
Shut the door on.
So I love that Angelo from the group said that wouldn't it be cool if they had a machine that could play back our
Yeah.
dreams and the symbols, and then also decode it for us. Because decoding dreams sort of started with, I think dreams were probably a big thing since forever in societies, but then it all got squished when being pagan wasn't cool anymore, and Christianity was like, oh, you got to be named a prophet before we can listen to your dreams. You're going to have to fix that.
Come on.
I don't even know what I was saying now. She distracted the hell out of me. But dreams and having symbols, look that up as a way of divining what's going on in your life, or things that you're trying to work through, or stuff that's being brought to your attention, especially reoccurring dreams, especially that. The next thing we kind of talked about is we made a funny joke about this Ouija board table with a carpet, and it was a planchette. I'm probably not saying it right, but the Ouija board little seeker, the little thing. It was really cute Facebook post that was selling it, saying that she's tried to sell it and it ends up back in her living room, and please come take it. And it was just like a really cute post. And one of our members said they sell angel boards, because I've gotten a Ouija board, but I gave it back away, or I probably gave it to Goodwill. So there's also this thing called angel boards, which I had never seen. I'd never heard of at all. So we got that in our group. That was amazing information. It's like, wow, you really get these different resources from people who have been out there in different sectors to show you things you didn't know. That's kind of what we're hoping to do with you. We're giving you information that maybe you haven't been exposed to yet. All right. The other thing with like Ouija boards or using divination is most of us are raised in a very Christian-based world, okay? So the values and the fear that Christians place on something like paganism or witchcraft can often stop us from trying new things, because we grew up with this fear, and they make movies about it. They make so many movies about how witchcraft can be scary and crazy and possess people and do demonic shit. That's up for opinion, whatever you want to believe, not telling you what to believe. But when you come at something being fear-based, you're not progressing forward. You're just staying stuck in where you're at. So don't do things that you truly think are bad, because what we think about, we bring about. So if you're expecting evil to show up in your living room the first time you use a Ouija board, it might. I don't know. But do it in the comfort of a place that, like, you have either people with you that you feel comfortable with, that everybody's open-minded, and you have that good positive attitude while doing it. Because I think that if you're expecting bad stuff to happen, I think that, crazy, weird, not necessarily bad, but what if the lights start flickering? What if your power goes out? What if your dog is barking at something that you can't see? You'll feel like that's part of I'm inviting bad stuff into my house. Why'd you look at Sister Gloria?
I was just thinking about the stories of our old house on Dodson, and
Yeah.
like it's haunted.
It is. It
It
was.
is not haunted. It's
That's
not. It
1,000%.
wasn't.
My
It wasn't. They
Nobody can
convinced
tell me
themselves. So
different.
we moved in there when they were young, and they convinced themselves because it was an
No.
old house that the house was haunted. I never saw any indications of it being haunted.
There was a man in my closet who looked like he'd been ran over. And he wasn't there.
Wait,
So either I'm delusional or there's ghosts in the damn house.
or your
I would hear footsteps when nobody was home.
Yeah,
in the bathroom
the top of the
myself.
stairs. I
Always
swear.
footsteps right there
Listen,
in that area.
my house right now, I have a wood house, and it does talk and creak a lot. It really does, as a full wood house, which
Haunted also.
my sister believes is haunted also.
Also.
But she has more proof. She slept in my downstairs area, and there was a lot of bag rustling going on, and she thought it was the cats, and she got up to look, and there was nothing there. So that's more freaky. I think that her stories, maybe it's just you.
It could be.
Maybe it's her.
It could
And
be.
it's not necessarily hauntings, but it's things getting your attention that make you feel uncomfortable.
Well, and I think if you're like highly in tuned or highly sensitive to that, then I think you might be because you're very much an intuitive,
Yeah.
and you pick up on all these things. So I
For
imagine
sure.
you can pick up on a vibration that maybe other people don't.
Yeah.
pick
yeah,
up on.
there's
For
energy
sure.
there. There's
Yeah.
energy all around us anyways, so we can perceive it better. And what I realized later, that the visions that we had in the house of, like, we used to see this old lady sitting at the top of our stairs, and sometimes it would creak like a rocking chair was rocking at the top of the stairs. It would just be like, It was like a scary movie. It really was. I started to realize that we're also sensitive to, like, when you have clairvoyance, you see the energy, or you see images, or you see people's experiences. Like if you touch their hand and you get images that flash before you, that's clairvoyance. That's the seeing part of it. And then clairaudient means that you hear things, that you can energetically pick up things that are not at our 3D level or our plane of existence. So I think that we're just attuned to that, but we related it to scary movie stuff.
Because they love to watch scary movies
did.
when they were little.
because I knew none of it was
I
real.
did not.
Yes, you did.
My older sister and brother forced me to.
I didn't hold you down and make you watch them.
I'm pretty sure you did.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not.
She
scary
had
movies,
to
but loved
be-
all the crime stuff.
She
that's
had
for
to
sure.
be as grown up as us, so she would force herself to stay there when she didn't want to, possibly. You did it. But I brought it into the house. So Reba, I totally relate with you on Christianity. Not all people in Christianity say this, but there are a lot that consider Ouija boards and tarot cards as like a sinful thing to play with or mess around with, because it invites the archetype of a devil or the archetype of a Satan. And so it's the thing that I always realized with that is, in a God-fearing religion, which means that you're supposed to fear what God will do to you if you don't obey the rules. In a religion like that, you don't want to piss God off. And if you go and explore other things beside him, because he's a jealous God, is that right?
Well,
Or it's like, have no
they're-
idols above me or something?
Yeah, so like there's all these rules around
Yeah.
it. Like, it's blasphemy and,
So it's-
idolatry.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
anything like that that's outside the realm of what Christians are like, here's the parameters and you need to stay in these parameters of.
Well, there's a hierarchy in the religions where there's a top thing and you're not allowed to go or ask questions beyond that. That's part of the fear-based stuff. That how do they get you to not ask questions about yourself or your identity, or like how big the world really can be, or all the things that aren't explained through the religion. They have to make you fear it. They have to say, like, well, if you go looking for those answers, like, then the devil will get you, or you'll, I don't know. So that's where the fear comes in, to put fear around things that can help you have self-discovery and think more for yourself and not be under a hierarchical triangle. And that's what I truly believe some religious practices do, is they don't want you to think outside the box. Like, don't leave the box. You're not safe. You're safe in the box. Believe this, worship this, give this, tithe this, whatever the things are called, and you'll be safe and you'll go to heaven. You'll live forever with Jesus by your side. Sounds great, right? You're like, everybody wants to secure what might happen next because we don't truly know. Well, when you start looking outside of that box and you're like, but there's other signs from the universe, from source, from the creation. Like there's got to be more to this. That's when they're like, that's the devil talking to you. You know, that's Satan. That's his great trick, is to make you believe.
Obedience.
It's a
without
belief
question.
system. Yeah, it's just a belief system, and you get to choose. I think that's one of the things that we love about witchcraft is we get to choose how we interpret messages from creator and source, whatever works for us. You know, runes,
Personal to each individual.
There's not a rule book for us, you know, not truly, unless you're even Wicca. I mean, as the rule book goes with that, that's a religion. So it wants you to stay confined into something. With being a solitary witch and not conforming to any practices of anybody else, you're creating your own. You're listening to your own true heart, your own true self, what feels absolutely right for you, and nobody else gets to tell you what's right or wrong for you. And that's why I choose this. That's why I love it, because my true heart and my true soul, I don't want to harm people. I'm not about anything malicious or evil. I'm about, you know, raising people's vibrations, bringing people together, creating safety and comfort, and getting through this life like with the best attitude and a happy song in your heart that you can. That's how I view the world, and that's why religious practices don't work for me, because they put me in a box for fear. That was a tangent. Yay!
Good job.
Yay! So thank you for sharing that with us. The understanding of what a sin is unique for all of us. And if that word resonates with you or not, like, is there true evil? What is it? How do we deal with it? The book that I refer to, because I think it opened my eyes the most to what source creator might have in mind for us, was a book called The Shack. It is loosely based on Christianity, but not like the present day Christianity, but it does have the Trinity of God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that they talked about everything in that book, the way that it was perceived, and I don't mean the movie, although it was great.
Yeah, don't go for the movie.
The book
for sure.
describing things on, you have to place yourself, if there is somebody who was like judging and looking over us, can we really say that somebody does something bad because they got super messed up as a kid, or like all these life circumstances, and then they did kill somebody? Do you condemn them forever and never ever love them again? You know, if it was your own child, I think that's where it really hits home, is when you have a child and they mess up in the worst way, do you stop loving them? Like, it's your child. You carried them. You loved them for so long. They became an adult and they made mistakes. Yes, like horrible, awful, awful mistakes. Do you ever stop loving them? You know, do you want them to heal and regroup and recuperate? Yes. Do you want them to be sorry? Yes. But do you ever stop loving them? No, I don't think so. So that's the whole theme around the book, The Shack. If you want an enlightening, terrifying, happy cry read,
and it's not really long. It's not a very big book.
It's
an awesome book.
It's a pretty quick read.
It's an awesome book. Yeah. So that all started from the dreams playback.
You'll cry a lot.
You'll cry a lot.
Yeah.
It's in
I
good
cried
ways.
a lot.
In good ways. That's like The Lovely Bones. Did you guys ever read that book?
I've read The Lovely Bones. Oh my God.
Same. The Lovely Bones is sort of the
goodness.
same. It's this perception of heaven and the afterlife and sort of what we go through and the things that go on. Those are two great books for exploring what your own beliefs are about sin, evil,
what happens when we leave?
What happens when we leave? What happens when we leave tragically? What happens when we leave through the hands of others? You know, understanding chaos and what we would consider evil in the world. All right. There was an important point made here that as you're trying new tools, if you don't want to do it alone, make sure you find somebody that you really connect with, that you can trust, to try these new tools out, whether it is the Ouija board, an angel board, tarot, runes, the pendulum, whatever it is. Just, if you're going to not practice alone, pick people that you can trust and explore things with. And there's not a dynamic of it's a game and somebody needs to win, somebody needs to do more. Because the moment you enter competition, things don't flow as freely with that, as with how energy goes, right? If we're competing, we're in our ego self. When we are manifesting or trying to be our highest selves, we're in the creation mode where everything flows really easily. There was also a suggestion for tarot meetups for people. So our group is a meetup group. So if you want to find other people who are practicing or learning about tarot, there are a lot of free meetups for that. So explore Meetup more to find groups that might resonate with you. I love that Teresa said that trees have auras. Like, she just learned today that trees have auras, and I think that that's such a beautiful statement, because when I think of that, I think of the redwoods and like those trees really having auras. Of course, I take care of the trees in my yard, but I don't see them in color as much as I would think about seeing the redwoods in color. So if you haven't explored that, looking at trees' energy and how they're all connected underground together, and they talk to one another, and they actually, when one passes away, they help the new trees grow. Like, there's an actual, they send energy to it. If it doesn't have enough light, if it hasn't been getting enough food, through the root system, it'll actually send more energy to that new tree that is underneath where a tree died. It's amazing. Like, the science on that is so cool. Okay, then Angela says again that there is something called a witch ball tree. Have we ever heard of that? No, I've never lived anywhere where they had a witch ball tree. So this is a prompt for anybody who watches this. If you know what a witch ball tree is and you have one and there's pictures of it, we have a Facebook group, and I would love for you guys to post a picture of a witch ball tree in the Facebook group so we can all learn what that looks like and what it is. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, we want to see.
Yeah, post a pic, please. We want to know. We could do it ourselves, but that's less entertaining. And we did talk about the year ahead spread. It's a tarot spread that we do at the beginning of the year. We've only talked about it. We've never done a video on it. So that looks like it's in our video lessons for how to do a year ahead spread and what you might see with the cards and like the 13 thing. But if you have the Wild Unknown tarot deck, she has a year ahead spread in that book. So we follow that pretty much. I mean, it's the same, isn't it? It's like the 12 and the 13. It's the same out of her book that's probably online as well. But it's a year ahead spread where you do a card for every month. And
you don't have to start in January. You can start wherever you are and do the next 12 months. So like it's April now, so you could do April to March of next year. That would be your year ahead from this point.
Well, because Aries is the start of the zodiac, so we're still at Aries season, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I've also done it where I've started late, and I've still put my, my number one card as January, and looked at the months prior and gone, God, that lines up exactly. So you can do it that way as well.
Yeah, I think when I'm doing stuff like that, because when we redid our tarot, our year ahead spread in February, January already passed, right? I still took that January card and was like, tell me more about what January was supposed to bring me. Like, what was the lesson there for me? What was I supposed to do? So when I drew it and I played it down, I was like, oh man, that fits way better than, we had to redo our year ahead spread because our first ones we weren't feeling very much.
It was a crazy month. January. It was just, the energy was
January was
really
really topsy-turvy. I don't know.
Disjointed or something. Yeah.
So we do it and we still look at it and go, okay, how does this relate to the things that I went through? What's been going on in my life, and just getting the messages out of it from that. Because divination as a whole, like the thing that you can say about all divination practices, it's trying to help you answer questions about your journey or things going on in your life, but it is about the universe giving you messages to better you, to lift you to the next level, to guide you on your path. That's what divination is all about. Seeing where you're at right now and where you are looking to go, either willingly or unwillingly, what is unfolding in your life for the future. And sometimes even the past. It's all about what you can ask the cards. You got to give an example?
Miss Reva. She's like, can you do a demonstration on how you pull a card or lay them out?
Oh, yeah.
So when I was telling you guys on the meetup how they do this kind of like fancy thing here, and then
that doesn't look very fancy.
Okay, but I'm trying to go slow so they can see what I'm doing.
Okay.
But basically, you just hold the cards in one hand like this. You grab however many your hand can handle, right? And then you just let them slide from the top, and you kind of pull them. I rest mine on my boobs because I'm not good at it yet. And then you just do that number, and if nothing pops out, just lay it down flat, cut it in half, pull this.
Or three, or whatever you feel.
Or you can pull the one off the very top, or you can even flip it over and get the one off the bottom.
Yep. We go off feeling most of the time. It's
Yeah,
like, we
for
go
sure.
off like,
what feels right.
how many times do I put the cards like, oh, I feel like doing this today? And we really just go with that. No questions asked. There's no right or wrong way anyways. It's just what you're feeling at the time.
Yeah. And then Jamie said that she spreads her cards out.
I do like a fan.
Yeah,
Big
so
fan.
way
Yeah.
bigger than this, but she'll fan them out like that, and then
And I'll
she'll just kind of pull one out.
See, now I have to read it.
I know, right?
The Four of Pentacles. My hard work will pay off. I love that. Yeah. And so we each do it in our own ways. And I switch mine up all the time, but I don't do the shuffle thing. I don't like the way it feels. I do the bridge thing. And now I'm going to use my boobs for my table.
Oh my god.
So you get them in a shuffle and then you put them together like that. Normally I do that on a table, but God gave me girls.
She's just gotta be better than everybody, doesn't she?
Not better, just they need like multiple job titles, okay?
I like it this way.
Reba,
just
did that help you?
It can
We
pop
hope it
out.
helped you.
See, I had one fall. What is it? Daughter of Swords.
Sour gum tree. Daughter of Swords. Is that your card for this month?
No.
Anytime this year?
Yes, she has Daughter of Swords cards at one month, I
Oh,
think.
good. Daughter of Swords cards, yeah.
Oh, Daughter of Swords?
Daughter
Yeah.
of Swords,
Oh,
not
maybe
cups.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, cups, I think.
I
Yeah.
didn't have Daughter of Swords, but
Okay.
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Daughter of Swords is.
So
Wise.
for me.
What?
Oh,
Do you remember the meaning behind this one?
Daughter of Swords, so this is going to be air. No, I don't get that card. So there's cards we don't get like ever, and they're much harder to remember because they don't come up as often.
Well, yeah, and this deck is different because it's like Daughter of Swords. There's not another tarot deck that uses daughter.
No,
So,
no, it's like Page, Knight, Queen, King.
Yeah.
That's a lot of men. So Kim Kranz did the family cards instead. So it's daughter, son, mother, father. Why was the father card? I was like, daughter,
Father,
son,
mother,
mother,
daughter.
king.
It's supposed to be
I was
Father,
gonna-
mother, daughter, son.
You're going the other way. Okay. All right. So the next thing on our meetup was that Amy suggested an app, and I haven't looked into this at all because I'm just seeing the comments like for the first time today. Astro Matrix is a kick-ass app. So this is by one of our members, and she suggests the app for probably astrology. So Astro Matrix. It does numerology, tarot, birth chart, literally everything for free, and it's spooky accurate. That's her review of it. I love that. Amy, thank you so much for that suggestion. We really appreciate it, and I love that I can share it with everybody as well. Teresa said this thing, and it, it's not a question, but it stood out to me, and I thought it was really beautiful, that death is like entering another room. D, the letter D in numerology and just letters in general, represents a door. It used to look like an upside down U that was squared without the bottom on it, and it meant it was an open door. So when they closed it and they made it the D that's more symbolic to what we have today, the Phoenicians, when they did the door, D was the door. That was, so all words beginning with D, think about them as transitional and how it moves you from one place to another, because the letter D was meant for that. That's what it stood for as a picture, was something to move through, something to go through, or something that's blocking you. So it's a block or it's open, either way, but door. So death is like entering the next room. And so I loved that. I was like, oh my gosh, that connects so much with the numerology and like the history behind letters. It was amazing. All right. One of the things we're going to address really quick, I don't want to give them too much time, but we had trolls on our meetup. This was our first time having trolls.
Little
And
fuckers, if you're watching this.
they're not going to watch it.
They might be
Yeah.
trolling us right now. They're probably on.
They're not, or they'd be like blowing up the chat or something. We've been doing this almost 2.5 years, and that was our first time having trolls live on a meetup. I'm very thankful that it took so long for somebody to show up and act like an asshole. Everybody in our meetup has been so kind, gracious, polite. We're all so good to each other.
Mhm.
It was really weird to feel that energy.
Mhm.
And I'm sorry for anybody who was on the meetup. It took me a long time to cut them off because I kept thinking like, no, they're just young. Like they look like two young dudes, like just dumb. I was like, they're just coming into this. Like, let's not be too harsh on them. My sister pegged them right away. She was like, no, this is no.
As soon as I hopped on and it was like we were already into the meeting, I was like,
Yeah, she was admitting people, so she saw them as well.
Yeah.
So in the future, people who do not, and I didn't even go over the rules. We didn't even introduce ourselves. Like, we didn't do hardly. We just didn't do the norm on Monday that we would do. Like, here's how the meeting runs. So I thought it was more me. Like, I didn't tell them, hey, from 7:05 to whenever the lesson's done. Like, everybody pretty much stays quiet. Everybody knows that. They didn't. So they were just, and I kept muting them like 100 times. And he would unmute himself and start adding in comments. And what was really upsetting is when Kat was giving her very personal, very emotional story, he really started his bullshit. And so he got kicked out. And, good riddance and whatever you like. What the
Kicked out and blocked.
Then somebody else was like, oh, wait, you're witches? I was like, oh, that's hilarious. Okay. So you join a meetup and you don't even know what's about. So we did have that. And we'll just handle it much quicker next time. If you start some shit on the meetup, that's it. We'll just I have to answer for it. Like, I have to go into meetup and go into Zoom and tell them why I deleted the people or blocked them or sent them off on their way. And I'm fine with that. Anybody who shows up to do stupid stuff, that's what you're going to get. My tolerance level got reached. That's it. It's a one-time thing. It's like, I'm already there with that.
I don't know if you guys could tell, but I was over it right away. I was like, can you guys be quiet and stop talking?
And I was like, oh gosh, coach, it's okay. Like, they're trying to do this thing.
No. Tracy, I'm so sorry you had a hard time getting in. Are there?
Oh,
do you know if there's still people waiting to join, or is this now? No, this is live.
Yeah, it's live. There's not. Oh, I don't know. Dang technology. It is a full moon. I don't know. I'm sorry. Hi, Tracy. Yeah. I'm so sorry that it's 7:30 something and you're just getting here. We're just going over the questions in the chat, but next is runes. When we talked about runes, find the connection with runes. What I personally love is their story on how they were created. It's magnificent. It hits right to my soul. But as a tool, I don't connect with them. I have them. My sister got me a beautiful set, but I haven't really used them. I've tried. And find what works for you. I think the biggest thing is like, try everything, try it, and see what you feel really connected to. See what you want to keep working with. Because I think that the moment you get a tool and you're like, you're going to try it and you're just not into that, you're like, no, I'm done. And you may end up using no divination tools, and that is 100% okay. As your path grows and you learn more about yourself, you may find things that you're more comfortable with, like just interpreting signs that the universe gives you on a daily. Numbers you see, birds, animals, colors, people, cars, whatever it is that you interpret. That might be your divination. You don't need to buy anything. It just be outside of your front door or even in your house sometimes. There was that time I don't know where we were going. Kat and I were getting ready to leave, and one of her pictures jumped off the wall. It didn't break, but it was the craziest thing. There's nothing over there. There's no reason for it to jump off the wall, landing face down, like perfectly. And we were like, whoa, okay, that means something. What is that? Like, let's slow down. Let's look around. What do we need to do? And we just stalled because we didn't find anything in the house that we need to pay attention to. Like, hey, you left your oven on, or like the water is running in your hose or something. Nothing. We just slowed down and we were like, okay, well, maybe we just weren't meant to get on the road right then. It was like we had to take a 10-minute look around, what the hell's going on kind of thing. We took that as a sign for something. We've never figured out what it meant. We just remember that picture specifically jumped off the wall. It's actually from Spirit Fest. I got it.
The fairy?
Yeah, it's the fairy one. Mm-hmm. The fairy one. Yeah, I know, the one I gave her.
Mm-hmm.
Coil.
Right? See how we feel about those things? So this fairy that my mom, it's like a fairy 3D cutout kind of thing. It's really pretty. We were at Spirit Fest. Oh gosh, it's been 2 years now. But I got it for her secretly while she was like walking around. She's like, oh, I really like that. And I had my sister like, go. I'm going to get it for her and like hide it. And I don't know which present it was, birthday or Christmas. Something. Yeah. And so that was the thing that jumped off her wall. And I was like, whoa, okay, we need to slow down and figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
So signs from the universe like that, like if you catch every red light, if you are having constant delays, if there's always problems in your relationship and things don't go smoothly, those are signs. The universe is trying to tell you something. And once you start picking up on them, then the universe will start sending you a lot more to confirm, what's going on.
So Jolene and I had an experience that I wanted to share the other night, but because I was joined in as a participant, And while they were doing the meetup together in a room right next to me. But last December, Jolene and I went to a wedding in Jacksonville. And
Her niece and
Yeah.
my first cousin.
yeah.
Meeting her for the first time, by the way. I never met her.
So
before.
it was this outdoor wedding, and it was my niece, my brother's daughter, and my brother and I are half, and he has another sister that's half. Well, his other sister's daughter, one of her daughters, she had two, had committed suicide in May of last year. She'd had a lot of problems with drugs and just, she had a lot of emotional problems, and she ended up killing herself. So of course it was very traumatic for the whole family because she was very young. She was probably 26 years old. But anyway, we're sitting there at the wedding. We're sitting there waiting for the wedding to start, and the people are coming out. We're outside, so it's like a big area, and folks are walking from this building. The procession, and they're spread really far out. But at the front, by where the ceremony was going to take place, there was a table, and there was a picture of the girl that her name was Haley, who killed herself. So she was there in remembrance, and her.
But we couldn't see.
We didn't. I don't know that we noticed at the time, but anyway. So here's what happened. So the brother of her or cousin of her comes walking out the processional, and he's carrying a picture, and we can't see what it is, but it's her. It's the picture of her. And as we're doing that, as that is happening, and Jolene and I are sitting there, and like, here comes this butterfly right over our heads, and I was like, oh, look at the butterfly. It goes over the picture that's next to the area where the ceremony is going to take place, flies off, and Jolene says, somebody's visiting, and she did not remember that. Of course, she didn't know.
No, I didn't even know
she didn't
the
know
situation at all about the girl that had killed herself, who was my cousin's cousin. So, and they were like best friends growing up. They were the same age, like very, 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 very close. So, they had plans for her to be there in the wedding, and I had no clue about any of this, but. He came walking down with the photo, and I was just like, oh God, just always sad because it's somebody who's gone in the family. And he went and sat the photo frame down on this table up by where they were getting married. And then that's when the butterfly came and whatever. And I was like, oh, somebody's visiting. And
then the butterfly, I remember this better. Then the butterfly flew from where they were at up to where the picture was as well. And everything hit at the same time. Like, my mom realized, like, oh my God. So that was Haley. And then the butterfly came, and then it flew through the aisle right to where the cousin put the frame down. I wasn't there.
But it was something. And, I knew what it was. As soon as Jolene, like, somebody's visiting, I was like, it's Haley.
Yeah.
Right?
Because she knew more about the situation.
Yes. And I knew I had the whole story because I had heard it firsthand from my brother about her passing. In fact, we canceled plans to go to Key West because she killed herself. So we were going to go that same.
Is there a better way to say that?
People on the interweb say unalive.
Well, no, I just mean killed themselves. Like, is there a better way to say
committed
suicide?
I mean, it's a harsh reality. It's a harsh word.
But the crazy thing about it was when, I debated sharing that information. Yeah. With the family, and so first I shared it with the grandmother, who's my brother's mother.
Both of the girls.
I shared it confidentially with her because I didn't want to upset people, but I really
because we don't know them that well. Like, we literally just found these people on 23andMe not long ago. By the way,
but I felt like it was important, and I wanted to share it with somebody.
Thank you.
I wanted to share it with somebody, so first I shared it confidentially. Just with the grandmother, and then she ended up sharing it with the mother of the girl.
The entire wedding party.
And then she's like, "Tell me about the butterfly." The mother of the girl
who passed.
Came to me and said, "Tell me about the butterfly." And so then I repeated the story like several times, and it gave me chills because I knew
hard.
with 100% certainty that she was there.
Yeah,
she was there. Yeah. And you know what? When I told them the story, they believed that she was there too. And that was really a beautiful thing, even though it was very sad. But still, they knew. They just knew that she was there, and it was sad. And I don't know.
It's
it was
sad
happy
and
to know
joyful.
that we could
Emotional.
deliver that message to them
Yeah.
because weirdly we were the only two that saw it happen.
And they're the most spiritual in the group, most likely. They're the ones that are going to see it. So I will say, I'm sorry, I'm cutting you
No.
off, but this is what I feel like for us as witches, you guys, for us as we're intuitive people. Like we feel and sense things that are going on, sometimes more than the people around us, and especially when people are in pain. It's much harder for them to receive messages when they're in pain, and so I think about it as my duty. I'm put into places to make sure that people get the messages that they need to hear things, to have the coincidences or the synchronicities for the words, the places, whatever's happening. It's like everywhere I go, there's synchronicities because I know I'm supposed to be there talking to that person at that time, doing the things. And all I do is just listen to my true self, without judgment of, don't say that. That's weird. Don't be weird, Jamie. Like, don't say things. I don't do that anymore. I just trust what's going to come out. And I'm like, ooh, I don't know how that's going to land, but it popped in my head. And it's something that is meant to be meaningful to the people around me. And I think that that's part of our gifts.
Yeah,
It can be a
for
gift and a
sure.
curse sometimes because sometimes people aren't ready to hear stuff, especially after passings. But I think that ultimately it gives people comfort to know that there are people like us, all of you, who can feel, sense, receive, hear energies of the people who have crossed over that are not physically here anymore. And that's divination in like a little pocket of our spaces where this is what we do. We're not trying to deceive anybody ever. It's like bringing forth energy and messages as you
Yeah.
see them. Sometimes not even knowing that it's going to be huge for the family or for the people. I mean, they got to do this together without me. And the fact that all happened, I was like, wow, that's exactly how it was meant to go down. Like that was it. They're together. They helped the family hear this beautiful message of the butterfly coming through. And that will stick with people forever. So now one of the messages that comes from Haley, the girl who passed, is that butterflies are going to be a huge symbol for the people looking for her in daily life. Missing her in daily life. That's one of the things. That's divination without a deck. Without a deck of cards, without runes, without anything. So
Reba, I just want to say that I am so sorry for your loss, and we apologize if any of our words were harsh and maybe offensive. Definitely don't ever want to offend anybody or make it hard for somebody. So,
it's so hard.
yeah,
That
I
is
apologize.
such a hard
I know
word.
My heart breaks for you.
The S word, like you said, as a veteran, I know that 22 veterans take their lives a day. It's a really hard reality to know that they don't have things in place to stop that. It's so hard to know because they joined thinking that they're doing something really good, and then they come home and there's no support and they can't live with the things they had to go through. It's like hard, extremely hard for me. So I think in the door of death, we have to find purpose. And I think we find purpose by remembering, by not letting their life be in vain, by finding a bigger meaning for them, or like enjoying what they did, what they had, and living our fullest. Like if they were still here, right? So most people who pass over in that manner is because they lost purpose. They lost their sense of self. They lost the reason why. If we continue every day to live with our reason why and to spread that and to help people find their reason why, to find their purpose, we start eliminating those numbers as you bring people to their purpose. That's, the meetup. Yeah, that's what I want from this, is to help people find their purpose, to find their inner strength, to find who they really want to be, who they are. And if they're drawn to this path, I can help them strengthen those bonds with the universe. That's this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well.
Yeah, so that went off.
Who's ready for a full moon ritual?
Yeah.
Man, that's how.
Hopefully that was that's a wrap, because I don't know
Yes,
if we
it
can come back
is.
from
It's
that.
7:50, and we were hoping to only do 30 minutes, but I finished all the questions that came through on the chat for Monday, And I'm going to end it with that, you know, you guys are here with us, and our goal for all of you, our goal with ourselves is to bring everybody to their highest purpose, where they are their happiest, healthiest, most beautiful expressions of themselves, to feel comfortable in that, to not live in a lie or in somebody else's box that you didn't really want to be in the first place, to break free of that and to create your own path and love what you're doing, even if everyone around you doesn't like it. Find your tribe, find the people who do love what you're doing, and you'll feel so much better choosing your own path and doing what you want to do. That's why we created this, is to help people live their truth, find their path, do what they want, and not live by anybody else's rules.
Not live the template.
Don't live the template.
Don't live the template.
Absolutely. Okay, I don't even remember what next. I think next week is altars, right?
Yes. Monday night.
So altars. Monday is altars. Oh my God, I love altars. We have lots of explanations about altars and all the things that they can be. So we will see you guys on Monday night for altars. Love you all. Thank you for being here. We will see you on Monday. I hope you have a wonderful new moon, or not new moon, full moon. Have a beautiful Libra full moon tonight. Moonrise is at 8 o'clock for us. Just go out. You don't have to necessarily do anything. Just be there, watch the moon, be in awe.
I just went out last night in my bare feet, like at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, that's not last night. That's this morning.
Like 4 o'clock in the morning, I went outside because my dog needed to go out. And I was standing there waiting for him because the moon was so beautiful.
So bright.
So I stood there, and then I was like, wait, I'm on concrete. So I stepped off into the grass.
There you go.
Like, yeah.
Yes, feeling that earth energy.
Oh,
yes.
And soaked it up there. It was just so pretty.
And if any of you are going through things right now that you really wish you weren't, that's part of the Libra full moon energy, is things are being uncovered that you need to create balance with. Things that you need to get rid of so that you can be your truest self. Like, deal with all your bullshit and it'll get better, I promise. Like, whatever comes up for you, you're supposed to be dealing with it. If you're like, this is not convenient, it never is. Just start trying to tackle it now, because that's what the Libra full moon is trying to bring in. It's like, you know what you need to change. The universe knows what you need to change, and it's giving you an opportunity to flip it on its head and start changing it. So, yeah. All right.
We're ready for it.
Go for it.
Go forth and do that.
Go forth and be witches. All right. We'll see you guys
Good night,
Monday.
guys.
Bye.